What is one rule implemented at your school or work that backfired horribly? Story 1. My middle school had a no touching rule, which meant you'd get suspended for high fiving a friend. Girls got in trouble for hugging their friends. Our teachers thought this was ridiculous and would have students high five each other in their classes for a minute every day. So many kids got suspensions that the rule stopped being enforced and only counted if you touched the kid in a bullying situation or a sexual harassment. Story 2. My company, as part of its alcohol policy, said you should not drink for at least 4 hours before coming to work. So when engineers got caught about production problems over the weekend, they all just had a beer, but could be there in about 4 or 5 hours. Story 3. My school banned all balls over a couple of inches of diameter because someone kicked a football through a window during lunch. Most of us that walked home walked past the woods by a golf course and had a ready supply of golf balls. Golf balls were allowed under the new rules due to their size. Story 4. A school in my area jacked up the cost of the parking pass. People protested by not buying the pass. Instead, they rode the bus. The county relies on juniors and seniors driving because they don't have enough buses for all the students. So the parking pass fee dropped. People drove again. Don't let them tell you that driving to school is a privilege. They need you to drive to school. Story 5. There was a foosball table at a former job, software development. People would play reasonably often, but just one game to take a break. Then one day, management came down to the software engineering floor and saw people playing foosball in the middle of the afternoon. So they declared no foosball until 4:30 p.m. They made everybody know when other people would want to play foosball. It was much easier to find somebody willing to play, and it significantly increased the amount of foosball played at work. Story 6. High school took all the stall doors off the boys' bathroom because of graffiti or something, so I started pooping in the bathroom near the office. After a couple of times, superintendent came in while I was doing that, and all the doors were put back on. Story 7. In my senior year of high school, some guy in my class got an in-school suspension for wearing a headband. He had long curly hair. So the next couple of weeks, almost every guy on the football team started wearing headbands in protest. Keep in mind that girls could wear headbands, just not everyone. No one understood this rule. Story 8. My junior high school adopted a policy not to allow kids to loiter in groups of 5 or more in an attempt to crack down on gang mentality. This was freaking junior high. Anyway, my group of misfits, 6 of us, was always hanging out during our free time, and the principal eventually stopped us and asked us to separate. I had to casually explain to him that we were not a group of 6, but 2 groups of 3 that were intermingling. People caught wind, and that rule was dead. Story 9. My high school made students wear these neon t-shirts that read dress code violator if their outfit didn't adhere to the school policy. They became so popular that the school began selling them 1 week later. Story 10. I'm a flight attendant. The rule is that we can't drink 8 hours before our shift. Sometimes the company will call you after you've just got done working to do more flying as they don't have anyone else. Or we might have an extra long overnight, as in getting into whichever city, say around 11 p.m. Monday, and won't leave until 6 a.m. Wednesday. Sometimes they'll call us to work for some short flights on that Tuesday we aren't working. You answer the phone and you say you just had a drink and don't have to work. Story 11. An insane amount of time and hand-wringing went into my office's dress code policy. When the final draft was ultimately released, every department head had a valid reason why their staff should be exempted, so the policy would only end up affecting the guy that insisted on making the policy, and me. I violate this policy daily. Story 12. When I was in kindergarten, during the morning announcements one day they said, "And please, no throwing snowballs." There is a chance you might accidentally get some rocks in them. On the faces of all 20-some students, you could see the realization that, oh my god, we could put rocks in them. Story 13. I went to a private school for elementary where uniforms were strict, so if you didn't wear a belt, you'd go to the principal's office, and he would make you use a shoestring. Well, when you opened the drawer, there was like 6 different colors, and everybody thought it was really neat. So for a shoof, there was a bunch of kids coming to school with no belts, so they could wear their lime green shoestring belt. Story 14. My high school attempted to ban trip pants and the like. However, due to a hilariously overlooked typo, the student handbook sent to students and parents said, "Students may not wear pants." We had a good laugh and it made the local news. Story 15. There was a rule they put in place during my first year of high school that if you arrived late, i.e. after the first bell, you couldn't park in the parking lot. Instead, you'd have to park at the gas station down the highway and walk to school, making you even later. It stopped after 20 or so people intentionally showed up late to school and made a mass exodus along the highway, on top of many parents bitching. Story 16. My work recently tried to implement a new attendance policy that lasted only a short time. They changed it so that after 2 unexcused absences in a year, you were fired. An unexcused absence is any absence or tardiness. I think you were allowed 4 tardies when you didn't give your boss more than 24 hours notice. Story 17. This was actually in the news a couple of months ago. We had a sweltering summer last year, and the boys at my little brother's secondary school were mad that they couldn't wear shorts, but the girls could wear skirts. The junior leadership team brought it up at a meeting, and the head teacher jokingly went, "All right, if the boys want to wear skirts, then let them." A group of boys went to school wearing skirts the next day, but then it wasn't just a group of them. Story 18. Our school made it so you couldn't play dodgeball anymore. So what happened was that the gym teachers came up with this new game called Fireball. The rules are there are balls in the middle of the gym. People go on 2 separate teams to go for, and if you get hit, you're out. If you catch a ball, you're okay. So it was dodgeball. Then Fireball was banned. So now there's this new game called Pinball. Unfortunately, it doesn't involve the machines, but it's dodgeball/fireball. There are bowling pins that need to be knocked over as well. So hey, just gave up after a while. Story 19. I worked for a software company that routed all sales, more than 100K to inside sales, while larger orders went to the outside sales team that worked directly with the customers, until one of the inside sales guys convinced the customer that they didn't need the $2 million software and only needed a $99,000 upgrade. Story 20. If you violated the dress code policy, you had to wear these oversized gray sweatpants or sweatshirts that said DCV in big orange letters, dress code violation. It became a thing to get caught because they were comfortable. When the admin finally caught on that people were trying to get them on purpose, they changed it so that you got in-school suspension. Jokes on them for that too. Lots of kids preferred that over being in class. Story 21. My college only allowed younger years to leave the grounds and go to the shops during lunch. They just asked the older years to buy stuff for them. The college banned energy drinks. A black market sprung up, with the older years being dealers. Story 22. Our school has this day where you can wear pajamas to school but have to pay $1 to do it. So everyone started wearing pajamas to class, saying it was what they usually wore and didn't pay. Story 23. My work used to have vacation and sick leave as separate things. Years ago, they created a new paid time off that merged sick leave and vacation. But everyone got the same amount of PTO as their old vacation time. So tons of people just started coming to work sick so they wouldn't waste their vacation time. Now there are tons of people sick all of the time. 24. In my school, they started locking the back door so people wouldn't go out and smoke during breaks between classes. Unfortunately, the day they implemented this, 6 people jumped out of the window on the ground floor by the second period. Stepping into the restroom was like walking into a cloud. There was an emergency session of the student council. And within a few days, everyone owned a vape. Story 25. No shirt skirts rule at my high school resulted in a sharp increase of yoga pants. All of the guys at my school saw this as a net gain and did an excellent job of not advertising our collective appreciation, for fear of ruining a good thing.